And here we go. This is Flash at 20% off on the 15th of August 2019 on the calendar on my computer right now. It's even 8 o'clock for those of you that are keeping score. And hey, Grim, we're back to me getting this here stuff done alone. Of course, unless I'm not on. Let me ask him. We're doing the 20% off song in the room now. Can you hear me now? Anyway, what do we got going on? We got thanks to Grim for all the crap he gets stuck doing for us. Like tonight, his first world problem of the night. Are you sitting down? This is drama, people. He had to reboot his system. Poor guy. I mean, yeah, living the life out there and having to reboot and shit. I'm not even sure if it's that big of a deal, but he was typing about it like it was. So for bots and bodies tonight on the RLM, I don't know. Yeah, because when you're doing the computer, I mean, we do like it to be quick. I do like that about it. And when shit goes horribly wrong and something's interfered with beyond my ability to fix it, I always yell for Grim because Grim knows how to deal with all this stuff. But anyway, thanks a lot, Grim. For the bots and bodies attending the galas tonight, you've got, and this is summertime, so if you're outside, I understand. But we've got Barman, Beetle, Cowboy, Tech, Grimnir, Moose Girl, Brackets DC, Anti, Asmo, Sidoni, Gramsy, IB Don C, Java Doctor 2, Miss Kate, Rob Works, Rome's, Vanna White, Vinny, Weather Dork, Phantom, Circle, hello honey, she's upstairs now. Cyborg, Noodle, Duh, Indecive, Me, Frumpy, Grommet, J's, Nines, J's, Kiss, Mr. Snick, Pondergander, Prince, Pone Sauce, Sock Puppet, Smartass, and Van Meter. That's the chattables for all you brainiacs out there in typo land tonight. Because tonight, 20% off. There's lots of stuff going on in the physical world. And I saw something earlier today, but it didn't get a lot of attention, and now I can't even find it. And it was about 6 cops were in a gunfight and got wounded in, I think it was Philadelphia. I'm not positive because it didn't save the damn link. But I saw the thing. And I saw it on minds.com, but I've been reading the chat in the RLM today, and I haven't seen anybody bring it up to let everybody else know. And they usually do when something dramatic happens that's huge. Well, that's the kind of crap that people will post. The big stuff. And I'm not talking about your... what? Vinny? Vinny's being weird. Anyway, chat. Oh, he's calling me Captain Flashhab on the RLM chat. Are we cross, Mr. Vincent? If we can't be friends. Anyway, I don't know what Vinny's going on about, but what are we going to talk about for a show topic tonight? And I had a negative and my wife had a positive, so I'm going to figure out a way to either do both and just do an hour show tonight maybe. But I'll try to mix them together because they're both sides of the same coin, I suppose. And her idea was she wanted me to talk about the Wayseers Manifesto. I think she put it on YouTube and posted it on the RLM earlier this evening, or she was at least chatting about it. I was playing games because I had radio to do, so I was taking a few moments of, that selfish time where you just tune everybody out, and I missed a lot of shit. But what I'll do is I'll post the Wayseers Manifesto in tonight's show notes, if I can spell it. Oops, that's not how you spell it. And I'll put it in there. And then you can see, if you've never heard it before, then you can hear it for yourself and see what it's about. I think this will bring it up. I might have to ask Cirque to send me a copy of it. No, I think this is it. We will try to not play the damn thing. There we go. I paused the fucker before it got out of control. But I'll put a copy of this on the RLM feed. So most of us are familiar with it. It goes back a few years to the, I don't know how many years it goes back. It goes back a few years. But it doesn't get as much traffic as the shootings and the stabbings and the shitty politicians. I lost my mind for a minute there. We're just inundated in bad, negative, all the fucking time. Which was kind of the point of why she was leading me in this direction for a show topic, I think. So I'm going to do a little bit on that. But, see, my opinion of something, to me, isn't all that big a deal. To me, it's just my opinion about something. And some people get, I don't know, overly concerned. No, they react to it. And I don't react to a whole lot. Some stuff, but it's usually the more negative something is, then I get an attitude about it. But the positive stuff, I sit back and I smile, but I don't give off too much input back. Well, like, I'll give you an example. Rome's posted a picture of his new dog. Nice looking dog too. I guess I don't know the whole story of how he came up with the dog, but he got a female. I think they named it. I've seen the name and I already forgot the name. But I didn't forget the dog. And dog lovers are, we're strange people. And I'm more, as I've aged, I think I'm more to the cat than I am to the dog, as far as which animal represents my personality. And Hannah doesn't. Hannah's Cirque's dog in the social, out of the way. But like lately, the dog's been ill the last couple days. And what she did to let us know that she was ill is she sat behind me on my chair and put her face on my back, with exposing her throat to my back. And Cirque looked it up to see what it meant, because it means something in dog language. Dogs do things, weird things, to get your attention, to let you know stuff. And people like Rome's, Moose. I bet Grimner's even had a dog once or twice in his life. But, if it wasn't for Cirque, I wouldn't have a dog or a cat. The only reason living alone, I would be alone. But when I live with other people, then it always seems to involve animals and, all the trappings of society, the invisible strings. That's what I call them. Because the dogs and the cats, they pick the humans that they like in their own way. And a lot of people think that treats are like magic. Every dog will just love you because you have treats. And it's true to a point. And beyond that, dogs will react to you the same exact way, whether you give them a treat at the end or not. But the end result is the same, because they're just alive and, wagging their tail and shit. The treat thing's just extra goody. I don't think they have the ability to acquire wealth in mass. They just live in that moment that we're in. Now, these things have been kind of hijacked and taken away from us. And the reason I'm talking all crazy like that about the dogs and shit is because Wayseers Manifesto is basically about there's a percentage of us that just go against the grain of the system in a way that the system really hates. And we do it, and we're subversive, and we can't be stopped the way we do, what we each collectively do. Because what we collectively do is not participate in this thing that exists to enslave us, basically. And how I mean that, because we're interacting in it, but it doesn't seem to control us the way it controls the controlled opposition. Let's call them that, because voters is getting old. I think I can type controlled opposition. They'll understand my point, if you know what I mean. Anyway, because we've got a positive, and then we got this fucking negative thing going on. And not that negative doesn't it's not made up. I mean, it's real. It's not something that's fiction. But it can be overblown, and things can be explained to a human being in a way that aren't even true, that aren't even possible. But the listener will come out of the story believing the storyteller and seeing exactly what the storyteller wanted the listener to believe. And man, some of us, we see through the, Rob calls it drivel. I like to refer to Rob. I hope he doesn't mind, because I often agree with Rob. There's a few people that don't. And there's this one fella in particular that he's very negative, and you have to either ignore him, or I don't know how to read what he writes and not jump in and be involved in that. So I have to Iggy the guy, because I'm addicted to verbal drama, I guess, on the chat room site. And he brings it up. It's the negative side of the positive point, and it needs to be there. So instead of me insisting somebody else be gone, I just make them gone in my reality, so they're not there. But yet I can still see what's going on in the chat room by what other people are saying, so I know who they're reacting to and what it's about, because I know these people online in type. And I think a big part of that is that inside thing in your head that you just know shit. And when you tell other people that, oh yeah, I knew that, they shake their head. You didn't know fucking anything, you lying sack of shit. But you knew. But you didn't know what is... The expression of what you know was you knew something weird was in the air. You just didn't know how to explain it in detail, but you knew it. And I've woken up like that a few times in my life. Not every day do I wake up and predict the future or anything like that. But I have woke up on some key times and went, hey, something fucked up's happening somewhere today. And it did. Coincidence in my mind, but other people think, they don't believe what you tell them because they don't think like that. So they put a lot of weight in some kind of balance, I suppose, where if I don't agree with you, you must be out of your fucking mind. And they'll pretty much say that kind of stuff to you. Now, I try not to be that particular in type. What people believe and how they believe it is kind of hard for them to type out in words on a chat screen to make any kind of sense. So, from the beginning, I think I've always just taken the chat room with it as a joke, kind of a punny place to go to hang out. But people that stand out with negativity, they just do. We know who they are. And I think the reason they exist is to remind us of what we don't want to do. They are showing us exactly how not to behave to get sucked into that, state trap where, oh, the state will make everything okay. Because there's a group of us that we seem to see the state as a fiction. It's made up. It's an idea. It's not real. Oh, people work for it. Da, da, da. Well, yeah, sure, but individually, these idiots don't know what the other guy's doing. So collectively, they're just a lot of idiots doing a lot of different shit that doesn't fit. And I say that because that's what I see in the results. So the Wayseers thing, that would push me to not be so negative about how I respond to what I see. But it's hard. It's hard for me not to, I think, than to, like my wife is very optimistic. Let's use that word. And she's a more of an outward happy person. She's a happier outside of her inside person. Me, I don't know if people can even tell. And I grew this big old beard, so you can't. And I got glasses and long hair, so you really can't see much of my face anymore. I've blended into myself like a elf. Take the S out. I have given up my S. I am no longer a self. I've gone to being an elf instead. Yeah, I could start a movement. Get followers. Get people to send me money in the mail. Hey, become a billionaire. Get an island. Have a bunch of kids come over and party with the adults, baby. Hang out with presidents. Hey, wait a minute. That's already been done. Huh? Oh, well, never mind. It was a flashing moment in my life. Wow. Because I brought that up on the dork table. And, boy, the women had their opinions about Epstein, what he did and didn't do. And I don't really think it's a matter of what he did or didn't do as much as it is a matter of making it common and shoving it in the public face. Like, in the long run, it's no big deal. And this is the way they're going to shove it under a rug somewhere, and that's that. Next, what other problems we got? Oh, the gun grab. Maybe that was a distraction for these red flag laws. They put red flag laws in place in some states in the States, and posted a link for Grimm the other day about a guy. They were going to go confiscate his weapons, and he greeted them at the door. Apparently, when they said, "We've come to get your weapon," he went and got his weapon and tried to defend himself. And, well, guess who didn't win? Mr. Public. Yeah. Mr. Public lost that fight. Cops, not so much. But, anyhow, so you've got tons of this shit, state to state. Then you got different counties and jurisdictions and all this legal schmeagle crap. And in my mind, I see this as, this is really pointless. It's just not pointless in the sense there's no point to it. There is. It's just the point I see to it is pointless. I went in a circle. Ha! You're welcome, honey. But okay, let me try to explain. Well, if I have a gun, all right, and I'm sitting in here with my semi-automatic gun, whatever kind of gun it is. I don't even keep up with models or none of that shit. Calibers, don't give a shit. Gun's a gun's a gun. So, the police want in my house, and I want them to stay away-o. But I have my gun to stop them from coming in-o. Okay, now, what if the police decide to use their other weapon that uses sound? And they play a frequency at me, aimed at me through my house, that makes me raise my hands and run out begging them to stop using the sound. These things happen, not by the police. They're possible. The example's possible. The weapons exist. So they keep pounding us on the media and the public forums, like chat rooms and shit like that, about these gun grabs and threats to gun grab. But what you don't, excuse me, what you don't hear a lot about, I was making me laugh and cough at the same time, is about the weapons that the system has acquired, the futurist weapons, shit you don't know about. And one of them is working with sound waves. And they've got tanks and water tanks and taser guns, you name it. They're armed to the teeth, but you get to have a gun. Well, there's a few other things that, these situations could be avoided, and not by not having guns. It's by the way we're taught all these stupid things that inspire people to do stupid things, and the medication that these people that do the stupid things are using when they do the stupid things they do. We're not even going to accuse anyone of anything in particular, except maybe the medical profession and the government, the school system. Anybody trapped in that joint illusion that this is the way it's got to be for everybody bullshit. There's a tribe of fucking people in a jungle somewhere that'll never know we were here. And that's how big we are in our mind, But there's places in the world that don't even know there's other places in the world, don't even care. Would be the farthest thing from what they're concerned with. And I think that's how we start out. And people, educators, and the people in power, control, the news media, people that make movies, all these groups of brilliant thinkers, they've put these ideas into our head. Ideas that we would never have. Oh, it's all common now. Oh yeah, everybody wants to grow up to be an astronaut. I don't. I never did. Astronaut, what are you, fucking stupid? Be up there, what do you do if something goes wrong with your air supply, huh? No, I'll pass. I mean, I'm just not a thrill seeker like that. But they've convinced a population of thinking, intelligent people, mind you, that in 1969, with some magic markers and some adhesive tape and some spit, these guys went to the fucking moon. Well, let me tell you a secret. A lot of you out there in radio land may disagree with this here thing I'm going to tell you, but the moon landing was a hoax. There's links to even prove that. So, anyway, I'm just roaming around with story time tonight on Cirque's input and my negativity tonight from the links that I saw about the police. Oh, here's another one I saw that I think I'll post it in the notes of my show, but I'll put it right now. I'll put it in the RLM. I did it earlier because I thought Rob Works would get a kick out of it. And if you didn't see it, it's not exciting or anything. It's very dull and boring to watch the thing. But the end is so amazing to watch. You won't believe what you see this cop do. So I'm going to post the link that I'm talking about right now in the notes of the show. So if you care to see it, listeners out there in Radio Land that aren't on the RLM chat with me tonight. And Mary's leaving us. She's going to take a break from radio. And I know Mary, so it could be a while or it could be temporary. Who knows? She's kind of moody like that. But she's been doing radio for a period of time. Deserves a break if she wants one, I think. But I'm gonna miss her crazy anecdotes and her personal way of seeing this messed up world that we share. Because we share it willingly, me and Mary. We don't have a concern about all that. But there's a lot of people that are held hostage and they want victims. They're living to punish other people for breaking rules. That's what they want to do. That's what I thought when this guy's standing in front of this cop car in Sarasota, Florida with a camera. And the cop takes him about a minute or so to even know he's there. And then when he does, he reacts. I was wondering what the hell was he seeing on that computer that made him panic like that. It's very strange. But People, I think we expect too much out of other people when, we go that extra mile and you put a badge and a gun on 'em, and you give them these, what, polyester uniforms to wear, whatever the fuck that shit's all about. So they're identifiable to the public. They got their little emblems all sewn on it. They should be sponsored like race car drivers. Like Congress and the Senate. These guys shouldn't be wearing. They should be wearing racing suits. Maybe voters could get some control of these lying thieves and reel them in, but I doubt it. The public is. I don't understand how they can look at somebody like Trump and recognize him as a POTUS and look around at the society they live in and think that they're ahead. That part evades me. But then again, it's all relative to what you look out and see. And there must be just a shitload of people that don't see all this nightmare crap in the same light that I call them anarchist scum that hang around in the RealLibertyMedia.com. The anarchist people, because it's a mindset. It's not a party or a gang or a group. You don't join anything. It's just the way you think. It has nothing to do with physical reality in my interpretation of anarchy, because it's the lack of wanting to be involved. So how the fuck does the lack of involvement create involvement? Staying out of the business is not interfering in the business, you bozos. So what we have is this public full of uneducated television watchers, pretty much. And the news media explains to them how things are. And they show them a picture of a riot in some city somewhere. And they call the people rioting anarchists. Now, the people rioting are fucking rioters. They're not anarchists. Anarchists are non-violent people. Where does the label tagging, whatever you call it, I don't even know how to explain that one. But just because, you get called an anarchist doesn't mean you're an anarchist. If somebody's using that to punish you, their awareness is very low. They don't even know what they're talking about. They're sold that TV shit. And if nothing else, it kind of protects you from the ignorant. But, it lets you know where they are. Or like Moose's got a real problem with people that bash pot. I don't promote it. I think that if you're stupid enough to bash something that you've obviously never used in your life, or you would never say a thing like that about it, well, that's just the blind leading the blind. You're following Jimmy Swaggart or who else? Jeff Sessions. You're a Jeff Sessions guy. And that's what I was saying. Some people live just for the idea of punishing other people, just to hurt them. I don't get it. But I've been on the receiving end of police a few times in life. And it always made me wonder, what did you get out of arresting me for smoking pot in a car with a girl? What crime were you, arresting me over? And when it comes right down to it, it really wasn't a crime at all. It was just against the law. But no crime, nobody was hurt. There was no victim in any of that outside of commerce, because we had a controlled substance, and that, whoa, they did this to a plant. Now, they never did it with anything else before, but I was reading the other day, you cannot patent a plant. So what did Monsanto fucking do? These lying thieves, they went behind everybody's back. They create a synthetic of the original, and they patent the freaking that. Then, now they're going to sell it as CBD oil to the public. And it's synthetic CBD oil. It's not real. So, and there's going to be something in there that isn't nature. It's added by man. That's how you know you're fucking things up. That's why I'm so dead set against the inoculations and the shots and all this crap. You know, I mean, if I get a splinter in my finger when I'm doing gardening, my whole body shuts down because I have a foreign invader in my skin. And my skin goes, hey, get this fucking thing out of me or I'm not working. So I, dig out the thing and then, relief and go back to work. Now, imagine, if you will, the system that we live in wants to order you to be injected with lethal toxins. But they're within the limits of the law. But they're still lethal fucking toxins. So let's overlook that part and pay attention to it's within the legal limits of the law. Okay, and this is the difference that I'm talking about tonight is the Wayseers, they see that. They see the reality behind the point of what they're trying to do. Not necessarily worried about who's going to pay for it and who's going to be punished over it, but you're putting something foreign in your body. Think about it. Now, I grew up being told, oh, don't shoot at the heroin. Don't the smoke of the marijuana. Don't do the cocaine. That's what the people said. So, But on the other hand, it was go to the doctor and trust this lying sack of fucking dog shit in a white suit and do everything the prick tells you. And, when I said no to the fucking doctors, I took an ass whipping for it. People were not pleased with me. But, I would say, no, I ain't doing that. You do that and show me it works and then I'll do it. But you ain't sticking that thing up my butt. No fucking way, Charlie Brown. And they kind of frowned on it. But, I believe, or to a point in my life, I believe that I had the freedom to do what I wanted to do that wasn't hurting anybody. See, this is that anarchist idea. Not this government-approved fucking Bill of Rights crap that you do the shit any fucking way, so what do you need a Bill of Rights for? It's a joke. A control freak fucking issue. If I want a gun, believe me, I'll tell my wife, honey, you ain't going to like this, and I'll keep it out of your way, but I'm going to get a gun. And, she might divorce me over it, but I don't think so. I think I'd win in the end and get the gun. But on the other hand, I don't really want one. I just wanted to prove a point that can't be proven because I ain't going to fucking do it anyway. But it's funny. I believe that my wife is so dead against firearms and shit like that, she wouldn't want to live in the house with me with one. And I know me, if drunk enough, I like to play with them. So, but, we do have. We got cigarettes and dog. The boringest, see, that's what I mean is the boringest shit that I thought in life was boring and dull turned out to be good for me today. When I was young, I didn't want no part of this. This is exactly the opposite of what I was looking for. And now that I've kind of aged into companionship and, sharing stuff with somebody else is not hard. It's really easy to do. I just think that people are suspicious of each other, underlying it, because the upbringing and the violence in the internet. Every fucking movie's got people getting shot, murdered, killed, poisoned, thrown off buildings, you name it. They've figured out every way to portray, through drama, murder, how to kill somebody else, why to kill somebody else, where to kill somebody else, what to wear when you're committing, murder with an axe, to what to wear when you're shooting people with a rifle from a tower. So the society that you have in your head, okay, this is how I've grown to understand this for myself, right, is the one that I want to see. Because I could go into the little town I see and find all kinds of horrible shit. to complain about and snivel and whine and, oh, these people would only do this that way, and oh, if they would only do that this way. But I've never really been like that. I guess I could, push it and get it and try to play that part, and eventually it would work. But what a drag that would be for me, because I'm not like that. I actually like to watch people do things the way they do them and just let it be. I can't expect everybody else to do what I do, and they can't expect me, back, to do all the things that they can do. And I think maybe I'm not so shy about being appreciative, though, about like the store clerk. One Sunday, the train station was open, and I was running low on nicotine sticks, baby, and I wanted a pack of Smokies. But I didn't want to go to town and go to the bar or anything. I just wanted a quick trip. And he was open. And I told him, boy, I'm so glad you're open today, David, because then I don't have so far to go. And there you go. And he smiled and took my money, because that's what vendors do. And sometimes my English is a little too fast for him, but I believe that he understands tone of voice, because he works in that store all the time with people. So he knows people pretty good. Your intentions and how you behave in a store tell the guy behind the counter what you're there for. So, and it's one heavily got cameras every fucking where and all that shit for insurance. And they're by a train, so it's probably on some bean counters task, little list, that place is probably ripe to be robbed by some greedy thief. So to prevent this future robbery, they write these freaking laws that to be insured, to be covered and compensated back, you have to fill these guidelines. And some of it's cameras. You have to have cameras here and cameras there to video this and that. And all these underlying things that go on behind our backs, for our safety. That way, if somebody's ever robbed, they can always find you on the camera. Well, I always wondered, what do they do with all that stuff when they're not looking for people that are doing any robberying? Because I've been here for 4.5 years, and there has yet to be any kind, outside of, I think, a few years ago, they had a couple of people that were actually shoplifting. Like 2 separate occasions over like the first year. Because I saw the police in the parking lot talking to somebody twice. But since then, nothing. And I've yet to ever hear anybody talk about a robbery or a gunfire, nothing. No fights. It's very boring, very dull. So I don't think the population's going to ever get very big, because it's low on excitement. There's no lure to the young. The young want to escape here and go to the city and have fun. But this is like teenage hell, I think. A trading ground for, the school, the academics are working, because here that's how you do shit. You go to school and they even pay you to go to school. So if you're in the workforce, your funds, I would assume, unless your parents are tyrants, your funds are your own to do what you want with, because you don't need money to pursue a career. The state will pay for all that if you're a citizen of this country. So they've got a hellacious program for the people that live here. And I'm all for them keeping the immigration down and all that shit. I didn't come here with my hand out to take anything from anyone. So, they don't have a financial problem with me. But if they ever would, if they ever did, I wouldn't win it. Because that's commerce. That's how the game works. 50 lawyers against you, bud. Where do you think you're going to go? It ain't going to happen. And then you have a few people that get lucky. They get a case that's so fucking obvious, even a judge can't lie about it, and they win. And it's been known to happen. It just doesn't happen all the time. I've seen some people get reimbursed financially for their loss because they got inoculated. What does it take? I guess you're dealing with the educated. Educated people don't necessarily have any fucking hands-on experience in what they're educated at. Talk a big game about all these things they fucking know, but they can't change a flat tire on their car. But, hey, that's because, I don't get my hands dirty. I can afford to have other people to do that for me. Yeah, well, that's where the power in the world is truly at, folks. And I've been, it's like that Wayseer guy. I see this thing as as a game. It's not to be taken seriously. If you really live and breathe and the system does and doesn't and all this other shit, I don't live in that world. My world is way smaller. I have a wife. We got a dog and a cat. We live in a house. There you go. All the details around all that shit don't really matter. They matter to some people. Some people want to get, personal about it. And I don't know. I just don't really say much about what I value in life is so far from, it's not even physical, I don't think. It's more like an idea. Hold on 1 second here. I'm gonna mute for 10 seconds. Or 3. But I had a little, I think I'm catching a summer cold. Got a little bit of that drippy drip going on in the back of my voice. You can probably hear it in the radio tonight. But I'm only going to do an hour show tonight, trying to do the two sides of the positive and the negative. The Wayseers Manifesto versus living to punish others. Because some of us just, I think as a rule, I just get up and live and go outside and do my commerce and my interactions with other people. And I never give any thought to who belongs where, or if this person should be here or not, or do they deserve. None of that shit ever crosses my mind. But I don't live in fear of anybody physically doing anything. And how I mean in fear is not that it couldn't happen, because, we're alive and people do crazy shit every now and again. But I believe that it's a balance and that you draw that to yourself. If that's where your mind is, that's where your physical reality will take you. And wherever your mind is where you go. You go with it. And it goes with you in the sense of the things that happen around you are a result of where your mind is. So, I don't know if it's a lot of work to stay balanced and calm or whatever the hell it is that I do have. But there's times where it fails me, maybe once every 6 months or a year, and I get angry. But when I sit down and think it through, it's always something outside of me. It's not anything I can do anything about. It's just life and my reaction to it. And then later on, I realize how immaterial and how many billions of us there are. So my little life, man, just like everybody else. Oh, George Bush had this and had that. And hold on one more time here with the mute. Thank you for your patience. Anyway. So Does interacting on the RLM chat with Remember Jack, who ran GE, and the Charlie Rose interview. And I believe he posted... No, that's not a link. Okay. Oh, yeah, there is a link. Yeah. GE shares plunge 15% after Madoff whistleblower claims company is a fraud. Yeah, well... Doesn't greed just impress everybody the same exact way? I mean, I don't know. I don't think Cirque's got a greedy bone, so I like her because of that. She's not a workaholic, and she doesn't have to always be making more money. Going here, I gotta get a better position at my job and all that kind of shit. But other people would look at it like, oh, she's capable of so much more. Well, it's her. Yeah, but the more you're capable of, then also the more responsible you are to the job. So, she's found something that she can have a personal life and a job. And to do that, I think that's a pretty unique situation to be in. So being in it with her is really strange. I don't know if I would have ever met Cirque. See, if it hadn't been for the fluke on the internet, we would have never crossed paths in the first place. But how does somebody in Scotland end up in Denmark? The internet. And shit, not only that, but then there's like flukes, like Mary's got a relationship of her own. She didn't expect. I know Mary a little bit better than some folks, so. But when I found out about what was going on, it was a surprise to me, and they're still together. So, I talk more about Cirque than Mary talks about Wayne. Ha 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 ha. Now she's giving up radio, so it doesn't matter anymore anyway. But I'll miss you, Mary. But you can always come by the dork table, because you've always got to see, I thought about what a horrible name that was to come up with, but being a dork is, it's always been an insult. And dorks are always accused and insulted about stuff that really doesn't apply to them. So I made a table for us to sit at and make fun of everybody else for a change. Oh, I introduced a few people like Henry Kissinger. I got Henry to talk to Mary a few times. She doesn't like Hank. Mary thinks Hank is a perv because he wanted to do the bot in the closet. But, well, Hey, sex bots are going to be here soon, folks. Guess what that means? That means hackers are going to be out there trying to figure out a way to fuck with your sex bot. Think about it. If I thought of it, there's got to be hackers out there that already got the plans figuring out how to fuck with these things. Do shit with cameras. They're going to build them. They're going to build them with amazing abilities. You'll see. But anyway, this is what we've come to. People versus AI versus outer space versus each other. If you're not in a war fighting with somebody, there's something wrong with you, is how society's turned all this shit around. If you're not pro-Israel and don't understand, well, that's because most of the people that support that shit don't look at America as an occupier. But America has a fucking military base in about every freaking strategically placed place on Earth. There's a military base from the U.S. Hey, Hannah, calm down. So I can understand why they'd be, freaked out about people occupying their shit. Because, well, they've been doing it behind the public's back, basically. They don't report it. See, you're not given the information on the media in an honest presentation. We're bullshitted. We're told stuff that's true to a point. But when you open up the can and you look and see what's inside it, it's pretty bad. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Puerto Rico is American property, okay? Property. But they won't give the Puerto Rican statehood. Well, what would giving the people statehood, how would that matter and be any improvement in their life? Because as things are now, they've got no say in their own land. It's all done for them by America. Now, that's the way I understand what I read about it. So maybe if you hear the show and you're curious, but this is what led me to rant the last time about America is truly the occupier. Fuck it, started out occupying. Hey guys, well, we're here at Plymouth Rock, starving to death. Can you share some of your shit with us? We don't know what to do. Now, and that turned into taking over an entire freaking continent. Now, just because you write this Bill of Rights crap and you tell me all about this, Constitution and all this other good shit, but when shit hits the fan and you get in trouble with the law, none of these protections actually exist. You're not even in a real court. You're in an admiralty court in America until you get to SCOTUS. So you really got to break some freaking law to go to SCOTUS. And who can afford to go to SCOTUS? Me? No, think so. I can't afford it. Maybe Vinny can afford it. But they've got a population of people that 20 years after, well, here we are, 18 years. 9/11 comes, they do this Patriot Act, they suspend the freaking Constitution. The Bill of Rights is gone in a sweep. Took it all, everything. And still today, 2019, people are still harping on their freaking rights and their Constitution like they exist. And they have no proof they exist. They just know the story they grew up with, just like me. I don't see proof. The proof that I saw was the Admiralty Court exists. That was what I saw with the court, with my own two eyes. My radio partner, Vinny, that's not my partner on 20% on In a Perfect World in the Dork Table. He went to federal court on top of what he's been through with court. So Vinny has a more complete knowledge of hands-on with court than anybody else I know, besides lawyers I hung out with in the 80s. But catching a little bit of a cold here tonight, so I'll do another 10 minutes and call it a night. But yeah, I guess I can do a few minutes on living to punish others for smoking marijuana, by God and country, because as we all know, there are people in the world that judge your state of being as a negative if you openly say that you participate in the burning of a flower. Now, these people that do this complaining themselves do not participate in the burning of the flower. They just hold a judgment against those of us who do. And always with the insults about ignorant we are and this, that, no, you don't know anything. Well, does that really matter any freaking way? What I've never done a show except with other people, Larry Woods, Vinny, Mary, Grimner, Moose Girl, those people I've done shows with where I had a side to stand on or I had a position. But for the most part of life, I don't give a fuck about none of it. It's just stuff to talk about on a chat room site. I don't have any attention, no affection for it. There's no affinity. It's there and I'm here and I see it, but it doesn't attract me. So I get this, whatever it is I've got. And I try to talk about it, but it's pretty hard to explain. And some people think that the cannabis is the reason for bad things to happen, and just insane stupidity, right? When you go through the history books, you go back and you find out that cannabis was used for medicinal practices for thousands of years until America came and made these fucking laws based on a bunch of bullshit from a lying group of thieves. So I investigated why did they do that. And I'll come up with synthetics. They can't sell the synthetics if we're using the cannabis. But hemp is illegal, cannabis is illegal. And making it legal, for those of you that refuse to grasp this concept, is just the same as it being illegal. It's just you're changing sides of a boat. You're still in that water. It doesn't matter. They're still going to control how much you use. How is that freedom? It's a plant. How many carrots are you allowed to go to the store and buy before people start, hey, you're buying way too many carrots? I mean, this is the behavior of people looking on to this pot thing, like, wow. So instead of making it simple and just stopping the prohibition, now we have legalization to drag this carrot down the road a little further. Maybe Saturday I'll bring up the oncoming, collapse, the financial collapse. But for tonight, I'm going to leave you with those two little tidbits about the Wayseers Manifesto. And this cop has the worst situational blah blah blahs that this other fella has ever seen in his life. But that's okay. Oh, whoops, I opened up the wrong button. I'm not good with buttons. I'm like Mary. So let me copy and paste this little baby in my notes for Grimner tonight. But I still can't open the right window. But that's okay. I'm getting better. And I'll do the lineup in just a second here, folks. Oh, hit paste. That worked. So tonight's Thursday. And I've been doing my rant tonight on 20% off. I'm still Flash. And for the rest of August, Mary's going to give up the radio this month, but she's still on Wednesday and Friday night, 7 o'clock on the East Coast, on the Rocket Chair podcast. Maybe we could get Gooberzilla to replace her, and he could do the Spaceship podcast. And then 11 o'clock on Friday night, you got Grimnir and Moose Girl doing Freakers Ball. Saturday, 12 o'clock, I'll do the Dork Table. I know Vinny will be there. I'm hoping Mary will stop by, being that she's given up the radio, and do a farewell, say goodbye, and all that kind of crap on the radio so we could record it and laugh about it later. And then Sunday, you got Grimner comes on with the blues. Then we play a little bit of trivia, and the Brainiacs get, punch some answers into the computer and shit. And then Hal Anthony at 3 o'clock on the West Coast comes out from behind the woodshed and does a little bit of talking. Monday night at 7, you got Grimner with Grim Leftovers, the stuff he couldn't get to on Friday night at the Freakers Ball. And then Tuesday, I don't know, I've been trying to do something with it in a perfect world alone, and it's just 2 alone shows in the week is bleh. So I've not been doing very good on that alone. So if somebody want to pop in and do a in a perfect world with me, Vinny, and we could put it at a normal time again, it would be nice. I think it's about time to either postpone it until you get back, or get back. And then Wednesday, Grammy at 7 on the East Coast, Rocket Chair podcast. And Thursday, I'll be back with my own little taste of 20% off for your listening pleasure. And that's it. Thanks a lot, everybody out there in radio broadcast land. Over and out.